My name is KOLA KUDDUS Yusuf, Creative Director of KOLA KUDDUS Clothing. I'm also the President, Fashion Designers Association of Nigeria, FADAN. I started my journey into fashion in 2002 while I was a student at University of Lagos. I grew up in Lagos here. I was born and bred in Egbeda, part of Lagos, Alimosho local government. And I think that's why my name is KOLA, because I remember my dad just moved into a new house, and as a Yoruba culture, I think they had me moving into the house, and that's where the name KOLA came from. And it was also coincident that my mom just came back from Mecca, the Holy Kaaba, the Muslim pilgrimage, and she was pregnant then, and that's why my Muslim name is Kuddus, which signifies the Holy Kaaba. So that's where the Kuddus comes from. So my brand name is KOLA KUDDUS. I went to St. John's Nursery and Primary School at Panguf, and it was interesting. I grew up in the family of with 5 siblings. I had an elder sister, I had an elder brother and 2 younger brothers, so I was in the middle. And growing up was interesting. I did my secondary school education at Air Force Comprehensive High School in Ibadan. I went to University of Lagos, and I would say one of my major influence in fashion was my elder brother. I remember as at the time we were still in secondary school, he was in university already, and he used to dress very well, and I think that was where I picked my fashion sense from. So when I was in year 2, I realized that a lot of my friends really liked the way I dressed. I went to University of Lagos, which was a school that was known for fashion. And to be honest with you, in University of Lagos, I wasn't a power dresser. I was very subtle, and I was very quiet and kind of timid growing up. So I was always back. I was always a kind of laid back, And it was surprising when a lot of people used to come to me and say, oh, they love the way I dress, they love the way I dress. And they wanted me to get them pieces that I was wearing. And that was where my fashion journey started from. So I started out being a personal shopper. I used to shop for my friends and my families. And I realized that even my younger brothers, when they used to go to school and I shop for them, they'll call me from school that their friends want me to help them get stuff. And as at the time I was in my 3rd year, I decided that I was going to take it a step further, and that's when I started to do my own clothing line. Then I used to go to the market, buy the fabrics, and give it to tailors to make for me. Not until 2005, when I went to the first fashion school I went to, which was Nobel Afrique. So I went to Nobel Afrique Fashion School, and I did a diploma in dressmaking after I finished my university. And in 2007, I went to London College of Fashion, where I did fashion design and production. I went to Central St. Martin's in London. I did personal styling, and City University in London, I did sales management. And I returned in 2008, and I started my fashion brand officially February 13, 2008. I'd already started business when I was in school, doing a bit of buying and selling. I had support of my families, my friends. So when I was starting up, I got a shop. My first shop was in Oregon. So I got a 2-bedroom flat in Oregon then. Then getting a 2-bedroom flat was about 200,000. Then it was a lot of money, and I got 1 generator and I bought 2 machines. So it wasn't like I started with all the machines I have today. So today I can say, oh, I have over 25 machines. But it was something. So most times I tell people, these are my efforts over the years. So most times what I realize is when I get machines is when I have a need for a machine, I save up, I buy 1, I save up, I buy 2. So once people come into this space and they see all of the machines, they'll be like, wow. I'm like, no, I didn't buy all of this in one day. So it's a gradual process. So, and I didn't even start my business having this big space. So this is a product of about 20 years. So I think it's not too much for that gradual growth, moving from one stage to the other, getting new clients, buying extra machines, and moving to the next level. When I started out, we didn't have, I don't know, I think then there was a kind of closed niche in fashion. You didn't really have access to a lot of the big designers, and like I said, I usually go out for fashion shows and exhibitions to meet them and talk to them, and a lot of them were not really open to mentorship. I think then there was a close knit and people didn't really want to share ideas or how they were going about it. But I had a few people I used to talk to, like the likes of Lanre Del Silva, Itu Embassy. Sometimes we had people like Moody. Maybe when we have fashion conferences and we see them, we'll go and meet them, we'll talk to them, and they're able to give you one or two advices. But like I said, I even had more mentors outside of the fashion industry, because I found out that people in the other industries were willing to share more on like what the fashion industry had to offer. But I think today, as of now, we have a lot of more educated, more enlightened designers, and you have more people that are more open and more exposed and that are more willing to share. So today I have a couple of people who I mentor on a daily basis. People reach out to me, and that's one of the reasons I was able to emerge as the president of the Fashion Association, because a lot of people that I mentor and they are part of the association were easily able to say, oh, this is the guy we want to lead us, because he's been there for us even before we joined the association. I always knew I wanted my fashion to represent Africanism, and for me, one of the major ways I could express myself in terms of expressing Africanism is art. And I get a lot of inspirations from art, and I've decided to surround myself with a lot of art. So usually I remember growing up, when I go for art exhibitions, there's this aura, there's this feel I usually get once I go for an exhibition and I come back. For maybe like for the next 1 week or 2 weeks, I'm living in that space of that art world, and I want to express myself. So I found out that anytime I go for exhibitions, art exhibitions, I come up with new ideas. So I think one of the things I decided to do was, okay, since it was one of the things that give me inspiration, that gives me life, so I decided to, let me surround myself with art that express Africanism. And like I said, even when I'm having brain blocks and I'm in the right space that has a lot of art and creativity, it makes me to create more, and it makes me more spontaneous in terms of creativity. You can't separate creativity from fashion, just the way you can't separate art from fashion. And so some people are more expressive in terms of visuals, not necessarily in terms of sketching. So some people are good in terms of art, of technicality, in terms of maybe sewing, stitching. So in fashion we have different sectors. So you're talking about the people that actually come up with the concept. So most times we refer to those people as the illustrators. So they get the inspiration, they do all of the sketching, and they come up with concept. And we have some people that they are just very good with visuals. They are not good at sketching, but they can tell you exactly what they want, the way they want it, and that's where their own art lies. Visual art, that's where it lies. And you now have the people that are, their own love and their creativity lies in merchandising. So their art is merchandising, arranging the stores to make it look desirable. So some people might call them maybe interior decor, but these people are just merchandisers. They know how to arrange the colors that it appeals to you. Once you enter the store, you just want to buy everything in the store. So that's another set of art that people actually go to school to study. So you can't separate art from fashion and creativity. It's all in one. There are a lot of challenges businesses face in Nigeria. One, most times you don't have the required manpower. So I'll give you an example. A lot of the people we work with are not properly trained, and they don't have the right orientation. So most times, one of the things we do is we do a lot of backward integration. I take people off the streets and train them, because most times you realize that the people that you train from scratch tend to understand what you want better. So you have the challenge of human resource training, and power is a big challenge. Without power, you can't even do fashion business. You can't even produce nothing. So power is a major challenge. And when you talk about rental, rent too is expensive in Lagos, and rent takes a chunk of whatever income you have in. And it's like fashion, you need to do a lot of promotion, you need to do a lot of exhibitions, you need to do a lot of fashion shows, you need to do a lot of media and advertising, and all of this costs a lot of money. So it's not easy doing business in Nigeria, and you don't have the support of banks that are willing to give you loans at single digits for longer period of time. So most times what you see is the banks are giving you loans at double digits for a short-term period, and in that case, most times what happens is there's always default in repayment of loan. I like a lot of family time. I like to go out a lot with my family. I like to travel, and I like to chill and hang out with my friends.